Rob, we started off the show talking about the quandary, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, that the Lakers are in. There's a divide there within the franchise where LeBron James is pushing hard to get Kyrie Irving, and the brass, the brain trust within the Lakers organization, Jeannie Buss, the owner, she's consulted by Phil Jackson, the Rambis family, Kurt and Linda, Rob Pelinka, the GM. The brain trust is hesitant about Kyrie and looking more at a Buddy Hield and a Miles Turner. And we had Vinny Goodwill on from Yahoo to talk about this, Rob. And I the one thing I disagree with Vinny on, he was saying, like, if you re-sign LeBron, he can be a free agent after this season, then you're kind of agreeing to play by his rules.
Right.
And I don't agree with that.
That's why I push back. I agree. When he said that, I'm like, I'll listen to him. I understand you got to build a team to win because he's in year 20, but I can't accept anything he throws at us.
Right. He's not going to run the team. I mean, that's just not going to happen. If you pay him, you're paying him to play. You're not paying him to be the GM. Now, like you said, you'll listen. He might have great ideas, but it doesn't mean you're just going to let him dictate the way the franchise goes. And one of the things that is in the back of their minds when they talk about, should we listen to LeBron on this Kyrie thing, is that he wanted Russell Westbrook. And that, Rob, has been a disaster. They can't find a trade partner.
No. And LeBron thought it could work. Remember, we saw the powwow in the backyard.
That he thought it could work.
I'm with you. Nobody did, Chris. I shouldn't say nobody. But most of the experts, we jumped on it immediately. Do you remember that? Yep. Immediately.
I thought it was a joke. When I first heard the rumor, I was like, please, that can't be true. And, it wasn't a good idea. And I do think that, look, Kyrie, at the end of the day, I would probably rather roll the dice with Kyrie, Rob, if I ran the Lakers.
Right.
I mean, how much does Miles Turner and Buddy Hield move the needle? They're good players, but they're not stars. And Kyrie Irving is a star who plays well on the big stage. The only questions with him, and they're big ones, is what is his mindset going to be like? And we've overstated the notion that LeBron can control Kyrie. I mean, they won a championship together, right? But he walked away from LeBron.
I wouldn't believe that. I just wouldn't once Kyrie gets here, he's going to be cool, LeBron. No, I'm not buying that.
Right. He might, but it's going to be, you're going to be on eggshells. You don't know what the dude's going to do.
Wait a minute. The NBA balls are made in China. Oh, no, I just can't dribble those. I can't do it.
Right.
I can't do it.
No, I mean, you never know, man. You never, ever know. So we'll see how this works out. But, Rob, the talk has been that the Nets are going to wait until they figure out what they're going to do with Kevin Durant before they make the decision on Kyrie. That makes all the sense in the world to me. Because if I have Kevin Durant, if he wants Kyrie, we really don't know what.
No, what if Kevin Durant changes his mind in a week, Chris, and just says, you know what? I thought about it more. I'm not going to be able to go anywhere where I want to go.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense for you to send me to Detroit or, you know what I mean, or someplace, or Orlando or whatever. It doesn't make sense. So I'm going to stay here. Let's run it back, and let's keep Kyrie in the mix. Or I'm coming back, and we need to move Kyrie. Let's get another point guard, somebody else, because I just don't think I could play or I can't count on the guy. Whatever it is, if he were to come back to the Nets and say that, I would do whatever you could do to make that happen.
Right. I agree. So you got to wait and see what you do with KD. But here's an interesting transition into our next topic in this segment. I don't know if you saw the story by Brad Turner, friend of the show, LA Times writer, covers the Lakers.
I'm still waiting for him to take me out to dinner, but that's another story. Go ahead.
But he, and I told you earlier, KD and Kyrie are out there working out together. And apparently, it's no surprise, but Kyrie is absolutely wowing other NBA players with his skill set. Like when they work out, when they play open runs and stuff like that, dudes are just mesmerized. I mean, actually, that's the term Jalen Rose used when he foolishly voted Kyrie on the All-NBA team. Remember that?
And then apologized.
Right. But that's what Brad wrote, Rob, that the other NBA players are telling him, like, yo, this dude is just lighting it up, you know? And so there it is with Kyrie Irving. But here's where it's a segue. Kevin Durant was on Twitter again. Surprise. Rob G, tell us what he was on Twitter going at it with folks about.
Sure. Well, the Draymond Green video was shared, you know, the one we talked about yesterday of him talking about Kevin Durant and him being a businessman and this being a business decision, that kind of stuff, right? So one commenter said, there's no bias against KD. The man stacked the deck, can't lead a team to a chip. And he elaborates. Stop comparing him to guys like Bron, Steph, and Giannis. So another commenter, as the way Twitter works these days, tagged Kevin Durant in the tweet, right? Because he wants to make sure, hey, I want to rat to KD that this guy's talking noise about him. KD responded as only he can, you know, this is the way he does it. I think they, meaning these fans, are just protecting their favorite players. People say I'm better and they disagree. I get it. And then he added later, it's not hoops anymore. It's a personality contest. Hoops is too boring. They need more. LOL.
You want to attack that first, Rob?
You go first, Chris.
Look, it's about hoops, KD. But it's about professional hoop. Professional hoop. And there is more to it than basketball. It's not personality. It's not who you like. It is about having the intangibles to go along with your hoop skills to lead a team to a championship. And here's the thing with Kevin Durant. In some ways, it's a compliment. I know he won't see it that way. But, Rob, Kevin Durant is so good as a player that he's in that rarefied air where you got to win championships. Period. Now, Damian Lillard is a Hall of Famer. Or, you know, will be. Damian Lillard was named to the top 75 players of all time. But if Damian Lillard doesn't win a championship, Rob, nobody's tripping. I mean, sure, we say, oh, he should go somewhere and try to win. Nobody's tripping, though. Because he's as good as he is, he's not in the KD class. And this is why LeBron James felt the pressure to go to Miami. Because he knew, I'm in that group. I'm being compared to Michael Jordan. I've got to win.
Yeah,
Let me get these monkeys off my back, right? And then I can do what I want to do. And that's what KD did when he went to Golden State, Rob. He wanted to get the monkey off his back. And then he felt like, you know what? I got my was finals MVP to boot. I can do whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. I don't have to worry about the pressure of having to win rings again. I got my rings. But what he didn't count on, Rob, was people saying, oh, but it wasn't your team. And that's the quandary he's in right now.
No doubt. Yeah, I think to try to paint this in any other light, to say it's a popularity contest or about personalities,
right,
is just not authentic. It's not real. It just isn't. He is in rarefied air, Chris. You just said it. People expect a lot from him. People expected me and you both. expected them to compete and win and possibly win a championship in Brooklyn. I'm sorry.
There's no reason they shouldn't, Rob.
I'm sorry.
Other than injuries. There's no reason
Other
they
than
shouldn't.
injuries, why in the world could those two, plus if they had the third person and the supporting cast,
right,
not win a championship? Okay? So it's about that. It's not about, oh, they don't like me or it's a personality contest. This is like high school where there's cliques and the media
Right,
don't like me
right.
and all that. That's just so ridiculous. It's just, if you were somebody else, Bradley Beal will make his $251 million, Chris, and nobody will bother him.
Right. Nobody's going to
bother him.
If Kevin Durant did that, people would rip him. They were ripping
Right.
because they'd be like, dude, don't you want to win? And no, you're right. Nobody's going to give Bradley Beal too much flack because he's not in that level. This should be KD's pushback, Rob. In this whole, environment of criticism that he's receiving, this should be his pushback. We haven't had a chance. I mean, let's look at the facts, folks. First year in Brooklyn, I'm hurt the whole season, and Kyrie only plays 20 games himself. So you got to take that year out. Second year, I only play 35 games, but I'm there for the playoffs. But Harden gets hurt. And then Kyrie gets hurt. Like the back and forth, they both got hurt. We really didn't have a fair shot that year. Sure, we played and they were banged up. Harden came back, but he wasn't himself. He had the hamstring injury. And then this year, Kyrie was out only played 20-some-odd games because of the vaccination. And really had just come back to playing, a lot right before the playoffs. So we really didn't have time to
only
gel.
had that one
Harden was gone.
Yep.
And Simmons was there, but wasn't playing. Like, that should be his pushback, right? And you can't argue with that.
Right.
He
would
be right.
And he could say, Joe Harris, who was one of the best three-point shooters in the league, missed a year, was hurt. Like you don't make that up, Chris. I'm sorry. It's not an excuse. It's fact.
It's an explanation.
Right.
That should be his pushback. Now, when you bail or when you try to leave, then that hurts your ability to use that. But he should stay, and we've said it, Rob, at least 1 year. And then that could be your explanation. Look, we haven't really had a shot. I want a shot.
Right.
Y'all all talking about me and Kyrie haven't done this. We haven't had a chance, really.
Let's have a chance where Kyrie can play every day, and I can play and be healthy, and Joe Harris comes back, and Simmons gets on the court finally. The guy's a talented guy, and he fits in with what me and Kyrie do best. The pressure's off of him. He could push the ball. He could get in the paint. He can defend. That's what we need. It's right there. It's all there.
And Rob, that is what, and I know we agree on this, that's what's most disappointing about the bail.
100%. It's
That's
all
what's
right
most. You haven't given yourself a chance, KD.
I can't believe somebody close to him couldn't talk to him. Because Chris, if we were like friends of his, I know we would both make that case to him.
Yes.
Where are you going, dude? Don't do this. Where are you going?
Right.
Don't go
Absolutely.
anywhere. The East is yours. You just got to be healthy. Let this play this out one more year. If it's a disaster, then I think nobody would argue with you that this just didn't work. Okay?
Yep, I agree. If it didn't work next season,
say somebody gets hurt,
you're right.
again or something. You'd be like, okay, it's just not going to happen.
Right. It can't do it here. So I'm out. And you're right. He wouldn't get much pushback. All right.